Hey guys, Anthony here. So today I just wanted to talk to you about certain question or a certain concept, which is a concept of suffering, and how I've realized that for most people there are two types of suffering. Actually, there are two types of suffering that we can go through. The kind of suffering that where most people are stuck in is the one that's caused by repeated errors, repeated mistakes, the one that causes you to repeat the same mistakes, the same ideas, the same patterns again and again and again and suffer and not grow for it. And the second is a suffering that actually leads to growth, the one that causes, us to grow in hope, in character, in virtue, to become more like Christ, right? Because I'm going to tie it to the subject of the kingdom, the reality of the empire of God. And our goal is to be the effect of suffering is to cause us to go to the other side, which is actually, the same way that, pressure creates diamonds and fire refines the gold. It's a concept that everybody understands that if there's a growth that's needed, learning a new skill, becoming a better individual, learning a new habit, there's a suffering of letting go of the old man and stepping into the new, right? The one that was created to be just like God. It's the learning how to control our tongue, which can lead our whole life into fire that can burn our whole life down if we're not careful. Because it says that the full man, the perfect man, has learned how to control his tongue. So this aspect of growth, you know. And what do sometimes people get in trouble for? They say stupid things at the wrong time, right? They don't control themselves, and it causes trouble in their relationship, in their work, job, their teams, any form of team, sports team, things like that, right? Or even when they maybe post things or say things online that they shouldn't. Thankfully, a lot of them, they got the anonymity. But you see, it's this idea that we're supposed to grow to the fullness of stature of Christ. And there's the suffering again that sometimes we suffer. And I'm going to tie it back to how when I used to be a Christian, how it could be perceived there was a suffering that people get tired of. That I heard this testimony of this lady. She was saying that, okay, there's this hope that we're suffering this world because we're going to go to a better world, right? That's the inverse of the message of the kingdom. Instead of suffering to bring about the the to shatter the whatever blockages that are stopping the kingdom, the reality of the heavenly kingdom, from flowing into our life. Because the end goal is on earth as it is in heaven, right? And so the thing is, sometimes the way that was perceived suffering in the Christianity is we suffer, and there's hard things, and there's you know um, persecution and these things. But when we die, eventually there's going to be that better place, right? And then that's the inverse of the message of kingdom, actually. Because actually, there's this place of growth where we suffer, we grow, and we become more and more like Christ. We're like these lights that are being lighted more and more. Imagine if you were, during a concert where everybody started lighting their light. Imagine if the world was filled with that light, what it would look like. What it would look like if there were multiple people which were walking that's in that stature of Christ, right? In that level of spirituality, a level of power, being able to do miracles, being able to have a level of character. There wouldn't be any corruption in the world. What it would look like, and as we take away, we clear out these aspects, this mechanism inside of us that are attached to those old patterns. We become better and better. I'd imagine a simple. I hope you just get the picture. A simple idea: if this world was filled with people like Christ, and so that's the suffering where. And I heard that lady, her testimony. She was like, "Okay, but I feel like I'm suffering, but not seeing any fruit, not seeing any goal. It's like it's always after. There's something after that's supposed to come, instead of something as suffering that causes you to see new aspect, new levels in your life, right?" In my case, what was it? It's when I started going to my suffering was the fear of what people were going to think when I went and started to lay hands on people and try to see healing. But when I went through, there was some rejection, and then some doubts. But when I lay hands on some people and they were actually healed, and we're like, whoa, you know, it's going through that period of growth, and then seeing fruits and seeing the world look a bit more like heaven. Take care of the sickness. So really, it's asking yourself, what is your what is on the other side of suffering? Is it to, oh, we're gonna wait, but it's gonna get better, not in this world, this abandonment of this world. It's like, uh no, it's not the suffering that we're going through, it's it's for the other world, it's for heaven. But no, 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 it's the other way around. It's for heaven to fill the earth. And there was this interesting fact that I heard that sounded really true, that really struck me deep. Don't know about the veridicity of it, but it said something like this: that the human body, that we actually grow older when we stop doing things that pushes us to grow, where we stop stepping into new things, right? Where we stop, when we stay complacent in our boxes, right? We turn around and around. We actually grow older and weaker and stuff like this. But there's this youth that comes from actually, um, uh, how do I say, breaking our boxes, growing and growing and growing. Because I really believe that humanity are actually divine beings that are asleep. And so as we awaken, as we grow, as we break those boundaries, right, between us right now and how Yeshua walked, there's like these layers, right? But as we break these layers, we grow in wisdom and power and the ability to hear God and the ability to prophesy and the ability to heal and the ability to receive counsel and plans to actually have projects in this world that are going to shift toward for the best, all those aspects, all those dimensions that we can grow in. We grow and grow until we can say ourselves, if you see me, you see God. There's levels to it. You even read some of the mystics throughout the years, and Christian mystics or other mystics from the religion, and what the ability that they had to shift reality, right? One Jan Gilek, he had so much healing that his country was known, his state was known as his town was known as the healthiest town in the world. And so it's understanding, it's this breaking through of this understand that we're supposed to be these small humans, but that suffering can actually cause us to grow to actually levels that we don't even perceive ourselves able to step into. So that's a simple message. What are you suffering for? Is it a suffering that where deep down you're asking yourself, what's the purpose? What's There's nothing that changes, there's nothing new. Where am I heading to? Or there's something that says, okay, as I suffer, as I grow, I see on the other side there's virtue, there's a growing happiness, there's shifts in my life, there's more health in my family, more health in my community, more health in my relationships, more health in my communication with others, more health in my spiritual gift, more health, growth in my ability to step into other realms and to see into other realms, to receive divine messages, more health in my body, right? Until everything that is good, true, beautiful flows through you, through your soul, that is being cleared into your body, into the physical world. So that's pretty much all for today. Be honest with yourself. What kind of suffering are you walking in?